Hello everyone, my name is Kenton Kivestu. I'm an ex-Googler, an ex-BCG consultant, and the founder of Rocketblocks, an online platform that helps candidates prepare for interviews. In today's Rocketblocks mini lesson, we're going to do part 2 on our series on the future of consulting. And specifically what we're going to do in this video is go a level deeper on what we talked about in part 1. So we talked specifically about implementation and new areas of excellence. And what I want to do here is call out a unifying underlying theme that runs through both of those, and then specifically look at how that theme is going to have massive implications for the future talent bases of these firms. So who are McKinsey, BCG, and other consulting firms going to be hiring in the future, and what are the skills that they're going to be looking for, and what are they going to need? So if you haven't watched part 1 yet, what I'd recommend doing is pause this video. The link to part 1 is down in the comments below. Check that out. And then once you're good to go there, let's jump in and talk about the underlying themes and its implications for the future talent bases of these firms. Okay, so let's talk about this unifying theme, and that is building software and technology. Now, if you will recall, in part 1, we talked about 2 main things. The first was that the firms are doing more implementation work than they ever have in the past. And the second was that they're establishing a lot of new groups and units to do new types of work. And if you look at both of those together and the patterns there, what you'll see is that the underlying pattern is that they are building a lot of software and technology. Now, let's take a look at that. So on the implementation front, if you're, say, McKinsey and you're working with a retailer, and the recommendations that come out of your traditional strategy engagement are, well, the mobile experience needs to be redone because it's outdated and clunky compared to where competitors are. And the second recommendation is that you need to do a better job of using your data to make recommendations to customers and embedding them across your mobile and web services. Well, if you want to actually follow on that strategy work with implementation work, you are going to need to build software and technology. If you need to build a mobile app or redesign it, there's just no other way to do it than to actually go ahead and rebuild it. And that requires, obviously, building software and technology. So that's what you're seeing on the implementation front. Increasingly, any sort of implementation that these firms might be helping with is requiring them to actually build software and technology. Now that dovetails nicely with the new groups and units they're establishing, because if you look at what's going on there, there is a clear pattern what type of groups are popping up. McKinsey has launched McKinsey Digital, which helps their clients build digital experiences. BCG has BCG Digital Ventures, which also helps clients launch and spin up new digital initiatives and digital experiences. BCG has a new group called Gamma, which helps their clients enable and accelerate their core business with new technology. McKinsey has McKinsey Analytics, which is helping their clients use advanced analytics and data science to power their business, to make better products, to make better decisions, etc. And so all of these groups that are popping up, if you think about what's going on here, they're all groups that are dedicated to using software and technology on behalf of the clients to better their businesses. They're actually building new technology and new experiences and giving those to the clients to empower them and to improve their businesses. So this is, quite frankly, really different than how these firms have operated in the past. And it's the big obvious implication is, well, the nature of some of the work they're doing is very different than what they've done in the past. And the second implication, which is really relevant for us, is it means that the companies are going to have to widen the aperture of the type of talent they're bringing in. If they're doing very different type of work, they're going to need a different type of talent base, or they're at least going to add in a new type of talent base to the company as well. And so that's what we're going to focus on in the second section, which is the implication that they're building a lot more software and technology. What does that mean for the talent base that these firms hire? Okay, so we established in the prior section that the unifying theme is building software and technology. And now let's talk about the implications that has on the hiring funnel for firms like McKinsey and BCG. So if you're actually going to build software, there's a whole host of different roles and functions and different skill sets you're now going to need to bring in. And we could spend hours talking about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to boil it down a little bit and focus on 3 kind of top level roles that are really involved in building any piece of software. So let's go through what those roles are. The first is engineers. If you are going to build software like the mobile app we were talking about in the prior section, you're going to need engineers that actually kind of code up whatever it is you're trying to build. So in this case, building an iOS app or building an Android app. That's pretty kind of straightforward in terms of you need someone to actually write and build, the applications that you're trying to put together. The second thing you're going to need is designers. So if you are building a new mobile app, there's a whole host of decisions that have to be made about what is this app going to look and feel like? What's the color palette going to be? How should we use fonts? How should the button, where should the buttons be placed? What should happen when you click on the button? What's the feedback to the user? All sorts of questions about what this app is going to look and feel like and how it's going to achieve what it's actually going to achieve for the users and the needs that it's trying to satisfy. So that's the second group. And then there's a third group, which is product managers. And product managers are looking at the whole product holistically. And they're working to coordinate all the different groups and stakeholders that are working to bring this new product into the world. So working with engineers to kind of lay out the order of operations of which projects and in which way do we do those projects, which features do we end up building versus leaving out, coordinating with the designers so that for everything that ends up getting built and coded, the design is there as well and that it fits together well, and then also bringing together all the other stakeholders that might be involved in a project like this and making sure that the delivered product, when it launches, actually meets those initial needs that were created at the outset of any project. So those are the 3 types of roles that you're going to see these firms hiring for. And if you go look at the job boards for things like BCG Digital Ventures or McKinsey Digital, you're going to see these popping up. Product management jobs, engineering jobs, designer jobs. And so this is a really exciting time where if you have some of those skill sets, if you're a trained engineer or you went to design school, the aperture of opportunities you have has now opened. It's not just tech companies like Amazon and Google, but firms like McKinsey and BCG. And same thing on the product management front. Now, you might be thinking product management sounded a little vague, like engineering is very clear, you're the ones coding the app. Design is pretty clear, you're making the decisions about how things look and feel and how they interact on screen for a digital product. But what are the product managers really doing? That is a really interesting and complex topic. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a whole series of videos looking at the product management role, and we're going to post those in the coming weeks to our YouTube channel. But the key thing to know here is that since these companies are investing in a really new type of work, they're going to need to start attracting a new talent base. And at a high level, it's things like bringing engineers into the company, bringing designers into the company, and bringing product managers into the company. Okay, so let's sum up how we got here. Across part 1 and part 2 of this video, what we've said is that the leading consulting firms are starting to do a lot more implementation work. They are also spinning up new units and creating new areas of excellence. And if you look at both those 2 initiatives, the underlying factor is that they're building a lot more software and technology. And the big implication of that for us is it means that the type of people, the type of candidates that they are going to need to hire and to build their talent base with in the future, starting now and moving forward, is really going to change. It's going to mean that they need engineers, designers, and product managers. And so the aperture is really going to open up. Of course, they're still going to be hiring strategy consultants, but there's going to be a broader mix of folks, which is really exciting and is going to change the kind of talent base of these companies a lot. And specifically, we're going to dive into this product management role and talk about what is the nature of this role, what do interviews for product management look like, and really go into detail there on a next series that's coming up shortly. So if you haven't subscribed yet already, please do so below. There is a big red button. That means you'll get all our videos as soon as they come out. And thanks again for watching, and have a great day.